We begin tonight at 6 with the weather.
Another hot and humid day all across the area from Virginia Beach to Hampton. We're
also seeing some storms popping up. Jeff is in now tracking those.
Yeah, and most areas, at least 3/4, probably more like 80-some% of us not seeing rain today yet. We'll have a few isolated ones still continuing this evening, so we could add to that total somewhat. But again, not a whole lot of areas getting rain right now, except for right here near the western side of the James River and a little bit up onto the east side, sort of near Williamsburg. We'll take a look earlier. A big storm popped up over Virginia Beach. That's why these blue areas are there. Those are flood advisories. That gradually drifted to the west. And this line you see right here that's moving, that is the outflow. Originally the sea breeze, and then the outflow from the storms lifts the atmosphere. The air is more dense when it's cooler, so it comes in like a snowplow, lifts the atmosphere, and it causes all the condensation as everything rises up into the sky with some of these heavier downpours, showers and storms out there. Again, west side of the James River, continuing down here into Smithfield area, heading south and west toward Central Hill. And this, not as much of the red, so the rain's not quite as heavy right now around Driver, Bennett's Pasture Road, all the way over to the 664 corridor. But the flood advisories, even though it's no longer really raining much, little light rain right on the eastern or western edge of it, but parts of Norfolk, Portsmouth, Chesapeake until 6:45, we have that flood advisory. And another one, they just canceled that. Well, because it's 6 o'clock. That's why that went away. So that was out until 6 o'clock. So isolated storms still this evening, less heat over the next week, but fairly hot. Rain chances every day, but the rain chances aren't terribly high. That's what I'll discuss along with the tropics when I come back.
Thank you, Jeff. Tonight, a major milestone for our project years in the making. Crews are going to open traffic in both directions on the new Lesner Bridge.
13 News Now reporter Chanu Hur is live in Virginia Beach right now. Chanu.
Well, yeah, you guys are right. It certainly has been a long time coming, and workers actually just opened up this walking path here on the eastbound side of the bridge. But as far as the traffic goes, it's still just the westbound side of the bridge that's open for drivers. So tonight they're opening up the eastbound side of the bridge for drivers as well. And it is a lot of work, so workers are opening it up in 3 different steps throughout the night. There will be some single lane closures initially as crews work, but by tomorrow morning, eastbound traffic will use the east bridge, westbound traffic just the west bridge. In total, there will be 2 lanes on each side, making more room for travelers.
So right now we have a bunch of different users for that bridge. We got vehicles, we got cyclists, we got pedestrians. We squeeze them all together on one bridge right now. So now that we have 2 bridges, we're gonna have plenty of room.
Now that's the project manager you just heard from. He says that there will be workers out here all night into early tomorrow morning. So if you're driving, you're using the bridge, just be cautious. There will be workers out here on the bridge. Live in Virginia Beach, Chanu Hur, 13 News Now.
Right now, emergency crews are trying to figure out what substance spilled from a container into a Postal Service vehicle. This is on Nolan Boulevard in the Lightfoot area of James City County. Medics evaluated and treated 1 employee, and we're told there's no immediate concern right now. And new information tonight about a murder-suicide in Virginia Beach. Belinda and William Davis died before the truck they were in crashed on the side of Interstate 264 earlier this month. 13 News Now reporter Stephen Graves joins us with what could be a motive for this tragic case. Stephen.
Janet, in these documents, police say they think for sure Belinda Davis shot her husband in that truck, then shot herself. We've learned in the moments before she received some life-changing news. Police say moments before Belinda Davis shot her husband William and then herself on a Virginia Beach interstate, there was a cancer diagnosis. Documents filed in Chesapeake Circuit Court say Belinda showed up to William's work site hours before and told him she had the disease. She just came from a doctor's appointment.
The impact is very high for most people to hear the word cancer.
Police are looking into if her prognosis played a part in the couple's death. Is suicide a natural reaction for people?
I don't consider it a natural reaction. I think it may be more likely to occur in an individual who's already experiencing some depression or already going through some mental health difficulties.
Belinda is believed to have started a fire at the couple's home the day of the deadly shootings. Documents say they were slated to be evicted from here that morning. A VDOT worker on the interstate says in the moment before she shot herself dead in the truck, she jumped a Jersey wall, checked on her husband after she shot him in the driver's seat. An overall story, Samuel says, is troubling when she hears it. She wants others to know that there is help out there.
Know about the resources in your area. I think that it's always beneficial to seek out mental health help if you are really struggling and finding it hard to motivate and get going in the morning.
Now, the medical examiner would not confirm if Belinda actually had cancer. Police, though, took out a warrant to look into her cell phone. They're hoping that provides more clues. Stephen Graves, 13 News Now.
Norfolk International Airport has undergone a lot of changes in the past few years, and it's about to get more upgrades thanks to the FAA. The airport is getting nearly $6 million from the agency. The money will be used to improve Terminal A and build a 5,000 square foot customs facility. International travelers will be processed there. Federal officials say the money will create new jobs as well.
Bird is the word around Hampton Roads. The scooter share company took Norfolk by storm yesterday, leaving scooters all over the city. Most of them are gone because they migrated to the ocean front. As 13 News Now reporter Adriana de Alba explains, there is a lot of confusion surrounding these scooters.
These Bird scooters are now popping up along Pacific Avenue near the ocean front, but how they got here isn't sitting well with the city of Virginia Beach, and things could get really complicated. They're popping up throughout Hampton Roads. These Bird scooters first landed in Norfolk yesterday, but the company didn't get a permit, so the city of Norfolk spent the entire day picking the birds off the streets.
Give it a couple kicks, and you're off.
Now, the app-controlled scooters are getting people's attention near the ocean front.
Be nice on a hot day like this to be able to take a scooter instead of walking everywhere.
But the city of Virginia Beach didn't give Bird a permit to bring the scooters here either. Today, Virginia Beach city leaders tell us if the company wants to have the scooters at Town Center or near the ocean front, it needs to pay property taxes and get a permit, stating, quote, "This company does not have a permit and did not seek one prior to dropping off scooters here. Scooters left on public property can and may be confiscated." And the problem boils down to employees too. The company pays people to charge these scooters at home, but they'll need to get licensed. City leaders tell us so far no one has applied for them. We reached out to Bird about all of this, and a spokesperson for the company says, quote, "Bird has engaged with city officials and looks forward to working with them to create a regulatory framework that works for everyone." In Virginia Beach, Adriana de Alba, 13 News Now.